Hi, everyone. Welcome, scholars. Come on in the Zoom room, your Zoom class. How is everybody? I missed you on Tuesday. I had to work, so I missed Tuesday's class. I know you all enjoyed it because I saw your feedback. Hi, Hitesh. Hi, Jaslyn. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. You guys ready to engage? Join in? I don't see anybody. I just told Missy and Professor Hector I was looking forward to seeing you.
We
There
missed
you
you
go.
guys.
Hi, Jasmine. Yeah, I missed you guys on Tuesday. Hi, Nicole. How's it going? You guys gearing up for the end of the school year, right? Counting down. My son has
Oh, yeah,
22
true. But yeah,
days.
it's school's almost over, right? I forgot about that. That's crazy.
All right, so not to prolong the time any further, tonight you're in for a treat. We're talking all things resume building. As you know, resume building is such an important skill. It is something that will follow you in your journey of just, tracking your experiences and all the things that you do. Cover letter, all of these things are just going to be so crucial and impact your life for many, 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 many moons to come. So Professor Hector is excited to be doing this class tonight. Just know that it is Thursday, so we will have time for gain time, right? So we'll have some assessment time, and then please expect a survey at the end for tonight's class. And without further ado, I will pass it to Professor Hector.
Hello. Hi, guys. Hope you guys are having a great afternoon. I'm going to be sharing my screen for today's presentation. But how are we feeling? How's everyone? Great? Bored? Had a long day? Not sure, but okay, so let me pull it up real quick. Okay, can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, put in present mode.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi. Today, I'll be presenting you guys your resume, all things about resume, going off of what Latoya said. Today, we're going to be going over everything about how to build your resume, how to get going with your resume, and what you guys could be expecting when you guys are building one. And not just that, but we're going to go a step further and help you guys realize if you guys are making businesses, what are the things that you guys are looking to get when building a business, when you're hiring someone, right? Because it's very important that when you're reading through resumes, you find the things that you find important as a business owner. So this class was normally presented by Rosie, but she wasn't able to spend here today with us. She's gonna go with her daughter today. She's gonna go spend Mother's Day with try to. She's not gonna be here next week with her daughter. She's gonna go for science fair. So my name is Hector. If you guys don't know me, have an MBA and a bachelor's from New York Tech, and I graduated my bachelor's with an IT degree, and I also graduated my MBA with business analytics. So I have a lot of background, and I've applied to a lot of places that have done a lot of internships, so I know kind of what recruiters are looking for, and what are the things that you guys need to be preparing for once you guys maybe went to college, or not even just going to college, but if you guys want to get experience in like a domain or an industry that you guys are very interested in learning in, right? So, like I answered you guys before, I would like one person that's nice enough to tell me how they really feel today, so I get feedback. Great, tired, blessed, sleepy. I don't want to be here. I want to go outside. I want to touch some grass. I don't
I'm all right.
Great, sorry.
know.
I'm feeling tired and sleepy, and it's raining outside currently, so it makes it even worse, the fact that I'm tired and
Oh,
sleepy.
that makes sense. Actually, yeah. A lot of some people like rain. I'm also like the same. I tend to just not like it too as much. It's we're stressed out. Or just I'm like I want to do something. But here, at least you guys are at home, right? But good. Thank you guys for collaborating and telling me how you guys feel. It's really nice to talk about stuff. Okay, so obviously we talk about this. This is what you guys get to see. Just making sure that we're on the same page about the sort property estate statement, all right? And then we're gonna get into it. So the objective of what is today. So what are we gonna do? So today we're gonna have two different activities that basically at the end of it, you guys are gonna have to create a practical resume that you guys will be able to use for jobs, college, for the college, internships, or for scholarships. And you're going to learn about what are the best practices when you're putting up a resume. What are the things you guys should be looking for? What are things to avoid? What are the things that you guys need to make sure that you're looking out for and avoiding when building one? And as well, like I mentioned before, is what are we looking for to hire in someone's resume and someone for a candidate when they present to us their resume? Okay. Okay. So what do you guys understand by the word resume? Can someone please collaborate with me here? Tell me, like, what have you heard the word of resume, or some other times CV or curriculum? Have you guys ever heard of that term? What do you
Like
guys understand?
experience that could like relate to a job you want to get or something. Or,
Yeah.
like an experience that you've like had, like things related to work or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
volunteer experience.
That's a great description on how what a resume is, because genuinely at the end of the day, right, what it is just a description, a professional description, a document that explains your experiences, academic background, skills, and accomplishments. And generally, going with what you said, Nicole, is really, really important that you pick where you pick what industry you're applying to, right? So if you put, like, say if I'm applying to like a gaming company, I'm not going to put that I work at a clinic, right? Or if I'm going to put that I work at a clinic, I have to make sure that I kind of pay attention to what things I'm saying, so that whatever gaming company is I'm working or what I want to apply to, that they understand that whatever skills I'm building can be tailored towards that job. Does that make sense? But yeah, so a resume, on top of going off of the things you have to learn throughout the classes, it is considered, going off of what Miss C has taught you guys in the last few classes. It is a document that is written primarily to persuade an employer, to persuade a hiring manager, and to persuade uh, a recruiter. Right, that's the whole thing to get you guys going with the idea. So, what are some good practices when the pillars of writing a good resume? So it has to be typed. We're no longer in back in the day where people just came with the resume and they write it out and they write it. It has to be neat. There has to be no errors. One page is generally what's recommended. Sometimes in some countries, some other places as well throughout the world, 2 pages is okay, depending on how much experience. But generally speaking, you want to stick to 1 page, because unless you have many years of experience, you want to stick to 1 page, because 2 pages tends to be too drawn out. And then recruiters only have a certain amount of time to look at your resume and kind of see what you're about. And they only tend to go 1 page. A proper format, so a professional format, using your active voice. So telling us what you do and how you do it and the accomplishments you're going to get from those. Being honest, and then being clear and concise. So what do I mean by I say active and passive voice? So if you guys notice here, right, so it says passive voice was responsible for organizing events. So if I were to show you guys that on a resume, what do you guys think? Does that sound like a little too like boring? Like you're kind of just listing responsibility, right? So if we compare that to I did, right? So I organized events. I managed a team of five students. I created a social media campaign. So notice that there's a big difference in how the passive voice, like, one sounds way more confident than the other, and then when you're actually like telling a recruiter or colleague or whoever you're presenting this resume to, what are the things that you're doing day to day, or what are the things that you're being tasked with that accomplish a certain goal, right? So resolve customer issues, let training sessions, volunteered more than 10-15 hours, right? So the things that you want to include, just as a general like information, are the highlight of your education. You include your relevant experience to whatever job you're tailoring, showcasing your skills, your accomplishments, not your duties. So making sure that you're not just listing kind of like the passive voice, right? Not listing just the like, oh, I cleaned bathrooms as a janitor. No, you want to add more. You want to talk more about what you're doing. Tailoring each resume to whatever job you're applying to. So making sure you're fine tuning. Considering the format. So the format is, we'll talk more about that later in the presentation. There is a section about talking about, the different, what's the word, templates that they are going on about on social media. And if you guys just look up resume templates, you're going to find so many different ones. using examples, and then proofreading. This is something that is very, very, very important. This gets tiring. Once you guys get working on your resumes, you're going to realize that you're going to miss, because it's so, you have to look at every single bullet point, every single section of the resume has to be very detailed and very, you have to pay attention, because you can miss something and maybe and you've missed a period, right? Grammatical errors, those are things you want to be looking out for. Okay, so the standard resume that you want, then in the order you want to have it, generally goes in reverse chronological order. So when I say that, it means the most recent thing has to be at the top, and the oldest thing has to be at the bottom. Now that's a general rule of thumb, but the very first thing that you want to put is your contact information. So put your name, your last name, and your contact information. So that would be what, your phone. What other ways of contact information would you guys think would be a good thing to put inside a resume? Email, right? So a professional email. You don't want to just put, some random email that you got from school. You want to get a professional email, and then you want to also have maybe the location where you're working, right? So not necessarily your exact address, right? But have like New York City or New Jersey, and have your LinkedIn as a hyperlink. Right? So you sometimes, now this is a debatable topic. I was actually going back and forth with Rosie, and I actually would like to ask what Latoya, and I don't know if Tiana's here as well, but I think we see an objective statement inside of a resume. Now, some people in the industry, when it comes to like applying for jobs and learning about this, they disagree with them completely. Myself, I'm not the biggest fan of them, because I come from more of a data background, but they do have their place in cases where you're trying to break into a different industry, if that makes sense. If you're coming from a data background and you want to move to a marketing background, you want to make sure that you're telling the hiring manager that you have a certain skill set that can be helpful towards that skill, or not even just that, but also tell the recruiter some information that you could read really easy, or him really easily, to a little bit about you. But after that, you would have your experience or your education. So this is also a very debated topic, as we'll see in when you guys build your resumes. Generally, I think that having your education first, and then your experience, your professional experience or volunteer experience, is because it makes more sense, because your education is most recent, and as students, that's the thing that they want to see, that you're in school. It says present. So, right, you would have your experience after that, some awards, and the skills that you have. So technical skills, so this would be stuff like Excel, PowerPoint, Canva, any skills that are relevant to whatever industry you guys are applying to. So if you guys want to go ahead, let's look, so I want to get some collaboration here. So can you guys tell me some of the skills that you guys would like list if you were to put in a resume, depending on the businesses that you guys are building? What are some like technical skills that you guys would be looking for when you're hiring someone, or some skills you guys possess?
The languages that you speak.
Yes, that is great. That's a really good suggestion. Actually, funny enough, you can actually get paid more for being bilingual. You can go to some companies; they're like really appreciative of the fact that you can do two languages and conduct that. So that's a really good. What's another one?
Knowing to use Canva.
Yeah, right. So just artistic skills as well. That could be really useful for any person who's working in graphic design, or if you have really good presentation skills. One more. What's another one?
Good communication skills towards people, depending on like the job, like if you're talking to a lot of people or not, and like if you're good at it or not.
Yeah, that's a good skill to have. But we're actually you're gonna segue that into a really good thing that we're gonna talk about. So that's what we call in the resume world a buzzword. Have you ever heard of what a buzzword is? So buzzword is basically, there are these words. We'll get them into later. I can maybe find into this, but there are these words that you want to try to avoid, because they don't really say that much. Like if I go to you and I tell you like, oh, I'm a good communicator, it doesn't really like say much. It's just, you're just kind of, anyone could be a good communicator. You know what I mean? You want to you want to say a little more than that. But you are right. You do want to tell them that you are a good communicator, depending on the position. It's just you want to phrase that differently. Okay. Any questions so far? No? Okay, good. We're good to go. Nice. So when we're building a resume, the thing that's most important is considering a template. So the reason why I may say this is because if you try to make it on your own, you're gonna get stressed out. I personally did this. It was one of the most stressful parts of creating your own resume. But when you create it, when you get when you get a template that is a good template, it'll help you online the flow, it'll help you organize your thoughts, and also just section things properly. So kind of how we were going about it, I was talking about it before. Your resume shouldn't be no more than 2 pages. And the reason why you care about this so much is because you don't want to lose who is the person who's reviewing you. And there's a rule of thumb that is being said around like resume building is that recruiters or people when they're talking to you, they only have 7 seconds. They have 7 seconds just to read your resume, and that's the impression you're going to leave them. So we don't want to waste their time when they're looking through your resume. They want to look at your resume and be like, okay, so he is good at this, this, and this, and I like this in this section. So kind of going back to what Nicole was saying earlier, right, about kind of how, being a good communicator is a very vital, important thing to do, because working with someone who can't communicate or just lack thereof, struggles doing so, it's not good for any kind of purpose especially in a business. But you want to make sure that we're not just listing the things we're doing, we're also explaining the responsibility. So you guys see, don't be afraid to bring everything and all of the information that you can in a professional way on how your work impacted, or the things that you did impacted whatever organization you're working with. Okay. So we're almost going to get to the activity here. I know we get there, but the next thing is obviously making sure you guys are updating your resume. This is one of the things that you guys week by week. Once you guys build this resume, I would hope that once you guys start using it and using it to apply to places, or maybe this is your way into learning new skills, that you guys are checking it consistently. You want to make sure you're iterating, and proofreading. So, okay, I'm not sure if you should have the break before the activity, or do we want to have the activity now? How are we energy-wise? How are we feeling?
Probably do it now.
Okay. So the activity that I have set up for you guys today is what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose a business type. So you guys can do this individually, but you guys don't have to use the examples that we have here. You guys can use your own business. That's what we did earlier today. But you guys can basically choose a business type, right? So for example, there's a student in Elizabeth that she wants to make a nail salon, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend that you guys are the employer. Right, we're going to basically pretend to be like you guys are you already have this type of business built, and you're going to be hiring 3 essential roles for this specific for your business. And then we're going to create job descriptions for each. So a job description is composed of responsibilities, minimum requirements, and desired qualifications. There's a little more than that, but this is kind of the bone and the meat of a job description. So we're going to use ChatGPT for assistance. And what I mean by that is, so with you guys, right, but you're going to open up ChatGPT and you'll be like, hey, I want to open up this business or a nail salon business, and I want to hire 3 essential roles. Can you help me create the responsibilities? You help me create the job descriptions for each of these essential roles, which contains the responsibilities, their minimum requirements, and their desired qualifications. And then we're going to look at these job descriptions. Again, we're going to look at them in through detail and see what you guys get, okay? Any questions? No? Okay, cool. So I guess we can give you guys like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I think. Yeah, 10 minutes. That should be more than enough, I think. They have the chat
Mr.
open.
Hector, are these going to be breakout rooms? Or are they doing this independently?
They did this individually
Okay.
because it matters more. If you guys can do it with your own business, that would be ideal. That's the best role. Like if you guys already have an idea of what business you guys want to have, right? Create 3 essential roles, right, for the business that you're building, and then just create a job description for each of these. Okay. If you guys have questions, you know, what should I write in ChatGPT? What else should I say? You know, I'm here to help. No worries. And then obviously after you guys are done, I would like for you guys to say those, what's the business, right? And then what are the job descriptions for each. So just to make sure, everyone here has used ChatGPT before, right? You use Gemini, yeah. Okay, just making sure that some of the classmates I think I had from another school, they're like, no, I've never used it. Never showed that. I was like, wow, you're missing out. Also, I wanted to say, I guess, to kind of go a bit, but when I say essential roles, like, what do you guys understand by that? Like, for example, in a restaurant, right? One of the most essential roles is what? A cook, right?
Like a
Can't really.
server or a chef.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to have, and then not just that, but also some of the things you guys can maybe put inside of ChatGPT as well. What I mean by desired qualifications, right? So let's say we're making a Salvadoran restaurant, right? Or we're making like a what's it called? Like a steakhouse, right? What would be the difference between a minimum requirement compared to a desired requirement? You guys try to theory craft what that would look like.
Like something they would like to have, like something they would like the person to have, but it's okay if they only have this.
Yes, that is perfect. So for the business, right? From the business side, the way how we want to view it is in this, for example, in this steakhouse, what we really want is to have a cook that is really good with cooking meat, right? Making sure that they have prior experience, either 2-3 years of experience cooking meat and cooking either in other restaurants that have served meat before. We don't want that's the desired one. We don't want to have to train a cook ideally or help a cook figure out how to cook like a steak properly, right? But the minimum requirement, on the other hand, sometimes, right, if we're going through the hiring process and trying to like figure out candidates, sometimes we would find a candidate that might not have as much experience as other candidates, but they have other things that are more important to them. So maybe their work ethic is better, right? So that's why we have both those things, the minimum requirements and the desired qualifications. So a minimum requirement for like, I guess, a restaurant, right, would be like 1 year of experience, 1 year of experience working in a kitchen, right? Or just using ChatGPT, right? You guys can kind of see some of those examples. Once you guys are done, you guys can just tell me, right? If you guys want to just share what you guys are doing, that would be great. I'm actually curious to the other teachers, what businesses would you guys want to open up if you guys were to open up a business? I think I've always been asking that to other professors.
Interior design.
Ooh, that's cool. That's really, really cool.
Mine's a youth youth development actually center that also can teach that has defensive driving for new drivers.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's essential. Yeah, that is that truthfully is very much something that needs to be more important. 100%.
Yeah, I want to have examples like actual, how do you say, not demonstrations. They actually will get into a car and they will feel it. They will feel it like skidding on ice or snow. They will feel somebody cutting them off real quick.
Yeah.
And so a lot of defensive driving is what I want to do with them.
Yeah. That's actually that's a really, really it's not undervalued, but I think it's under well, yeah, I get technically, yeah, because I think that it's important to know that when you have a car, it's like that's something you're dangerous you're driving. And you're gonna be
Yes.
put into situations where you don't even know what could happen. And all of a sudden, like I've seen clips as well, like where like there's like a boyfriend and girlfriend and they're like driving in like they're ice skating and then they're like, okay, you got it, but like that could go wrong really fast. So
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Toy. Yes, simulations, especially, when it's texting and messaging, and I only look for a quick second, what can happen. So that kind of applicable to their lives.
yeah. How we doing? How's everyone going? Have you guys gone to the descriptions? You guys want to read them out? Shouldn't take too long, or if you guys gone good couple of the essential roles. Anyone want to say, or at least what they have so far?
I could.
Okay, go ahead. You have the floor, Nicole. Tell me.
Okay, so the first role was a restaurant manager. So their responsibilities would be see manage like all the daily restaurant people and like stuff and like that. Manage staff schedules and performance and stuff like that. So their minimum requirements would be a high school diploma or a GED.
Okay.
And 2 or more years of restaurant management experience or restaurant experience in general. Desired qualifications would be associate's or bachelor's degree in business, strong leadership and communication skills, and knowledge of food safety regulations.
Ooh, I like that. That's a really, really good one because that's I think you have to get certified for that. You have to do like a class when you're working in restaurants to make sure that you know how to take care of food. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. I like that. I like that. Anyone else want to share one of their essential roles for their business or their chosen? This is an example.
I chose to do real estate, and one of the roles said real estate agent, which is a sales associate, and it said
Yep.
for job description, it represents buyers and sellers in residential and or commercial property transaction, responsible for lead generation, property showing, client advertisement, contract negotiation, and closing. And it said key responsibilities were like prospect and generate leads through networking, referrals, and marketing. And then I'll just go to minimum requirements, which was active real estate license in the state of operation. And then it said 1 or more years of real estate sales or related experience.
Okay. Yeah. So do you see like the difference there, right? So like the minimum is experience is you want to be able to show that to like a person who might be interested in real estate, right? And have them not be scared away. Because like the worst thing that can happen is like you apply to or you see this job description and it says 9 years of experience minimum. And then you're there and then you're sitting there like, okay, I don't have that. Like, or you have like it says 3, you don't have 3, you have 1, right? Or maybe you have like half a year, right? But that's really a really great example, right? You want to make sure that that the role itself is tailored in a way that it can be for people who are interested in real estate and who also have maybe even considered taking a real estate license, right? Like taking a test like that. Okay. Nobody else? Does anyone else want to share one more role? Jaslyn, Hitesh, maybe.
I can go.
Go ahead.
Well, I did mine from my cat cafe. One of the essential goals I had was like I don't know exactly what to call it, but I just called it a cat coordinator.
That's cool.
Thank you. So basically, the responsibility for a cat coordinator is to like make sure the cats are okay, supervise the interactions between cat and customer. If any cats are like you see them with like medical issues or struggling, like they're there, and they'll also help with like the adoption aspect of it. So they'll handle papers and all that for adoption. Um, the minimum requirements, high school diploma. They don't necessarily need to have shelter experience, but it would be very helpful in that case. Because
Mhm.
you know, you already work with animals, you know how they function. And also if something were to happen, then they can help.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I think I would personally even add like a desire would be a pet owner, right? Someone who has a pet, not just a pet owner, but a good pet owner. Like, that's something you would have to do like in the hiring process, right? Make sure that, the standard that you're upholding to your pet and the way the care that you're giving to your cats is the same that's going to be given to other cats at your business, and then and then if it's like a cat and play arena where people can bring their cats to play with something, right? That's me making sure that that person understands not just the basics, but is a little bit more versed on that. But right, so I like that. That's a really good, like the name to the role would be really cool to put it on like your LinkedIn, cat concierge or cat coordinator. Yeah. So far it's been really good. So okay, I really like the activity. So I think if you guys want to take a little break, we could take a little break now for um I think Olivia, you're really late. But no worries, we can catch up about the topics. But if you guys want to take your break, we can be back, I guess. I don't know how long do you guys take to give them? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Professor
Not sure.
Hector, if we take 5 minutes now, then we could take 5 minutes a little bit later since it's a little early for the break. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Is everyone back? Hello? Keep hold. We're gonna give them, I guess, an additional minutes. Okay, yay. Got one person. Everybody else. Where's everybody else? Nicole. Okay. Is everyone else? Not everyone. Yeah, I think I should. Jasmine. Hi. Okay. Cool. So we're gonna keep going, right? But okay, this is an activity we're gonna work on later once you guys start making your own resumes. But the whole purpose of why I made you guys work on that and work on from the point of view of an employer is because once you guys understand what you guys are looking for, but inside of a business, you're gonna understand how you can meet those needs for the business. Does that make sense? Right. So if you guys already you're building job descriptions for what you guys would want to have as either a partner or an employee, you guys could use that same knowledge to be able to, maybe if you guys want to have some money on this side and get a job, you guys could fill those roles for yourself. So the activity we're going to work on later kind of goes with that, is that from the roles that you guys created out of whatever business you guys are making, right? As an owner, we do say that if you can walk the talk, you can talk the talk, right? What role would you guys pick out of those roles that you guys make? And when we were going to build a resume kind of around that job description that you guys just created. But we'll get back to that in a bit. We're going to go a little more into the slides, and I'll show you guys a template as well, so you guys are not going to be lost making it from scratch. But okay, so the template we're going to be using is this. Now, the easiest way to access this is I'm going to link it inside of the chat once we start working on it. But we're going to go into the slides, right? It should just be as simple as, you guys just log into this account, and then it's for free. You guys just fill in the information. So first name, right? Your objective, you guys want to put your education, and then we're going to fill it out together and then see how you guys get it done, or at least, get it working. You know what I mean? So one of the first things is you have to learn how to customize this resume. You cannot, there's a world called generalist, right? So generalist means that you're good at everything, or a jack of all trades. And that's something we want to try to avoid, because when we're building resumes, we want to tailor them to the position that we're applying for. So if I am a cook, if I'm a baker, I don't want to start applying to like cooking jobs, like traditional cooking jobs, like, you know, an afternoon or lunch cook, right? I want to tailor my resume for the skills that I actually have. So I want to make sure that I'm applying to baking jobs with baking skills that I'm writing in my resume, right? So obviously, like making sure you're highlighting the skills, the qualities, the experiences that are directly correlated to the position you're going to be sending in that resume. So it can be tedious. I know it's one of the things that sucks about building a resume, but it's necessary. It drives so much of a big difference. It shows that a person put a lot of effort, and when they were sending in their resume, because they're like, oh, this person might have actually changed their experience, because when they look up your profile, they can actually see that you changed those topics. Okay. So going back to one of the things Nicole was saying, right? So buzzwords. This is something that is oof. Um, I'm gonna play a video after here that is one of the things that I think a lot of people, some people really dislike. And in corporate, if you guys ever work in corporate, you guys gonna hear this a lot, and or jargon as well. It's another. It's just they're kind of, we go back forever, but you want to avoid these completely. You don't want to use words that are just super common, and everyone is using stuff like teamwork oriented, detail oriented, good communicator. Although they are good qualities to have, they are not things you want to just put in a resume because it looks generic. You want to stand out. That's the goal, right? It's the whole point of having a resume, is to brag about the things that you have and the experiences that you have. So replacing these buzzwords with strong action verbs. We'll show you guys a bit in how it looks like inside of a resume with what's the difference between a good bullet point compared to a superior and a really well done bullet point. So instead of saying just managed, you could say guided, facilitated, recruited, mentored, or cultivated. I actually have, like, for example, Harvard has an action verb list that I use for applying for jobs, and a lot of people tend to also use in industry. So right here, right, we have below is a list of assist you describing your experience and accomplishments. So accelerated, constructed, explained, figured, finance, focus, forecasted. These are the different verbs you guys could be using to kind of not only to accentuate what you're trying to say, right? That's the thing that we want to care about, not just use generic words. Right. So to make it more related to you guys, because obviously some of these things they're a bit too professional. Right? We're still learning how to, you know, move our experience to that. So instead of using team player, right, a professional way to kind of change this would be collaborating with a team of 4 peers to complete a group project, making sure timelines were met, and resulting in an NHS award, right? Or if you want to say you're creative, you can say design a promotional graphic for a school's club, social media, increasing engagement by 40% in 1 week. Now, all of these, right, these are things that we want to make sure that we're getting away with. Does that make sense? You guys picking up, right? So not having that in any skills as well. So a lot of times when you're putting down your skills as well, don't put these words. Responsible, problem solver, good communicator. They're good. You want to show them, not say them. So we have a little video here. And I guess you get a good laugh out of this.
We don't hear anything.
Oh, we don't have the video? The sound? One sec.
Yeah.
How do I share audio? Oh, share sound. Got it. Okay. You guys hear?
PTI, I need the
Good? Audio good? Yeah?
PDF, COB, aka EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP, FYI.
LMK. HBD Gordon. HBTY.
LOL, look at this GIF. It's GIF. FWIW.
ROTFL.
You see my IM?
TLDR.
What?
Too long. Didn't read.
Okay.
We don't need any more acronyms, but we could all use more ways to save.
BMX, YOLO!
Switch to Geico for more ways to save.
SMH.
ROFL did this video? Share with your BFFs. And BTW, don't get FOMO. There's more great Geico content. So hit subscribe ASAP. TY.
Blair. I can't. Yeah. You guys can see that, like, you can't take people seriously when they're speaking like that. You're kind of just sitting there like, what are they saying? What are they saying? What are they saying? And that's the thing, right? There's no time to be doing this. It's like you want to get to the point, you want to be concise. You want to make sure that you're actually explaining the things that you're saying in a way that is digestible. And there's a word that is used a lot, really well in business that's called succinct. And then what succinct means is that what you're trying to say is thorough. It makes sense and it's concise, and that you're explaining the words that you understand what you're trying to say as well. That's easy to understand. So, making sure that you're spelling out abbreviations, avoiding emojis. This is not the emoji movie. We're not putting emojis anywhere in our resume, nowhere, and maybe in your LinkedIn if you want to be a little bit creative, if you're more of a design person, but not in your resume. And making sure that we're using professional template, right? The experience. Okay. An emoji was listed in the chat. So the placement, kind of what I was talking about before, right? So if you're going to be in college or you're still in high school, you want to have that first at the top because you haven't had any workforce experience, right? But once you start having more than 6 months to a year, you can start moving your experience on top of your resume. So if you guys look right here, right? So once we actually get more education or more experience in our work experience, we move this up here and it looks like this. And the reason we want to do that is because it goes off of the fact that recruiters like to read from top to bottom and then in a 7 form, in a reverse 7. So they read work experience, they just read real fast here, read real fast here, real fast here. But they don't tend to go, they kind of put the stuff all the way in the bottom as not as important. I'll go into more as to why is it that we put something as important as like the skills all the way in the bottom right here. We can get more into that, but that's just more because we're trying to go for keywords, right? So we go back to this slide right here. You have to find keywords that are directly correlated to the industry or job description that we're applying for, because there's an ATS system. And this ATS system is one of the meanest things in the world that's whoever invented this, probably the rudest person in the world, because it will grab literally any mistake you have in your resume, and that will be enough of a reason to kick you out of applying to a place. So we have to understand how this system works and try to make sure that we're catering our resume in a way that we're favoring it, right? So these are some templates, right? There's other templates that are decent. They're not my favorite, I would say, because they have different ways of how they do it. But the ones that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today is probably like the best one right now. It's cookie cutter and it works. A question, Jaslyn?
Yeah, I heard that when you do resumes, you're not supposed to have graphics in them, or like, you know how some people decorate theirs a little bit? You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the thing. So specifically with this question, it really depends on a couple of things, because obviously, when it comes to your resume and where you're applying to, right? If you're applying for like a graphic design position, if it's an artistic role, sometimes, or if anything, they ask you to have a resume and a portfolio. A portfolio is different. Portfolio is basically like an area or a website sometimes where people show their projects. You can link your projects in there, and you can actually even link your portfolio here as well by, for example, by putting projects. You add the project and then you add a hyperlink to that project, and it takes you to the website, and then it takes you to the whole area where you can show all your artistic skills, right? But the thing is, we're going to play it in a little activity here that later on to this, that basically whether or not you're going to look at a resume and you guys are going to give me your thoughts on what you guys have learned. But did I answer your question? You notice how like,
because I've heard like some people be like, oh, I decorated it when it goes to like a machine or something and it instantly gets denied because of it.
yes. So that's the ATS system. So that's this right here. So roughly around 90% of Fortune companies, they use this, like it's a system that basically what it does, it grabs keywords. So it grabs all the words of your resume. So we'll go back to this one right here, right? So it grabs the words that are consistently using your resume. So it grabs the more commonly used. So if you have data, right? If you have it repeated a lot in your resume, it's gonna basically, the system, what it does, it grabs the most common used words, and it pushes that, it prioritizes those words. And if the role requires you to have data skills, the more you have of that word, the higher the chances of your resume going through to a recruiter Yeah, you'll have. So it's a little, it's a bit annoying how it works, but that's kind of it's a system that they use to make sure to filter out candidates, if that makes sense, right? It's one of the things that big corporations do when they're applying. Like if you're applying to Spotify, right? Like I think I was doing research on like a certain position, and it's like 50,000 people are applying for like a position at Spotify, and it's crazy. And they can't just have a person read through them, right? They need to have a system in place that goes through them and looks at, you know, parse this process through the document and gets the things that are more important. But any other questions?
Yeah,
Oh, I
you have
see.
one from Nicole Chen. She
Yeah.
said, could you put certificates in the award
Acknowledgements.
acknowledgement
Yes.
section?
So that's something. So going off of this specific template that you guys are going to get access to, right? There is a section that has awards acknowledgement right here. So the main the staple ones, if I go to add section, the most important ones are work experience, project experience, if it's more like a data related, or like if you want to working, or if you're doing any tech work, or if you're doing any artistic work that you want to show, right? That's very important to show. Then you have your leadership, your education, and your skills. These are the more essential ones. But if you want to show your awards, if you want to, make sure that you show that it's one page, because the worst thing that can happen, not worse, but you want to make sure it's one page, right? So having an awards and acknowledgement is completely fine. Having it at the bottom as a section, show that you had this GPA, or show that maybe you got an award from NHS, any other organizations you've worked with, right? For example, like our top scholar award, you could put that in your resume, because that shows that you worked in a business related endeavor, right? And that shows to recruiters, oh, this is someone who works, like who does more than just close, right? Okay. Any other questions? No. No. Okay. So LinkedIn is something that you guys have probably heard. It's basically the Instagram, I don't want to be mean, but of the older people. It's for professionals, and this is where people go to talk to other friends, to colleagues, colleagues, and to also connect and to make sure that they're staying in range and talking and seeing what your professional life and your other colleagues' professional life shows, and what they're up to, and what are they showcasing to the world, right? It's it's very important. That's one of the things that sucks for a lot of people, and I have a lot of colleagues myself that hate using the app, because they're not people who like using social media, but it's necessary, and especially in the world where we've been telling you guys as well in S.O.A.R that your network is your net worth. Making sure that you know people, the right people, and people that can help you maybe land a job or land opportunities is very crucial. It's super crucial, because basically way how a little bit into, if you guys want to know a bit about how recruiting works, if you have like a person who's a team member who is working under a company and they vouch for you, like if they go out of their way to reach out to, hey, I know this person, that literally bumps you up. It's like an unfair advantage. It bumps you up to the hiring process like by tenfold. It's really, really powerful what knowing the right people can do for you. And it doesn't hurt to try, right? It doesn't hurt to just send connections, send people, get to know people, right? Yeah, or an employee referral. There's different tiers to this. There's, I think, the best one is a recruiter, a hiring manager referral. Then there's a team member referral. Then there's, I think, I forget the third one, but there are different tiers of them. But is actually this slide right here. It's very important. I cannot say this enough. So spelling and grammar errors, proofreading, and proofreading. Now, funny enough, Rosie wrote this slide purposely wrong. She wrote proofread like she misspelled it purposely so that you guys could catch it. When I revised it, I checked it and I proofreaded it for her by accident. So what I'm trying to teach you guys by that is that you guys need to understand that this is the thing that you guys need to do consistently, not only just in any work, but in your resume. Your resume, it matters so much that you're not spelling, having misspells, you having not grammar, right? Using stuff like Grammarly is very important just to make sure that you have the document there and it checks for any mistakes you might have. And also having other friends or colleagues just look through your resume and just read it out loud. That helps me a lot whenever I'm building my resume, just to see if what I'm saying makes sense. So we're gonna look at some quick resumes, and I want your guys' thoughts on whether or not you guys would hire this person. Okay. So so the left one, let's pretend John Doe, and then on the right we have I don't know. Judah Vega, right? So which one of these resumes from what the things you've learned today would you guys prefer?
Professor Hector, one of the students messaged and asked if you can zoom in a little bit closer so they can.
Oh, I can't even. Wait. I don't think I can unless wait. Yeah. You want to read them? Is that what the
If you like, I don't know who said that, but if you like use your the what's it called, the if you could zoom in on your screen, on your own screen.
Yeah, that's what I tried doing, but I think in the
No,
presentation.
like this action. I don't know who said it.
In a
Oh, yeah, I got
magnifying
it.
glass.
Like you could like actually like zoom in, like not
Oh,
like the
Hitesh.
actual
You're
person.
telling Hitesh to do it himself.
Yeah, Hitesh. I didn't know who said that.
Oh, I see. Like he could zoom in with his
Yeah,
if he's
he
on
could
the
zoom in.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you
Wait.
can do that.
Yeah,
No,
I
you're
didn't know
good.
that at first. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
And also, just for clarity, this is looking at the format, not necessarily the text, right? It's more so looking at the format, like how which one is formatted correctly.
So the thing that I'm trying to get across to you guys is with the reason why this specific template that I was showing you guys earlier is super popular and it's super standardized inside, in the industry, if you guys are applying anywhere. It's because of the fact that the systems that they've been using, so the ATS system that they've been using to filter and to parse their information, it favors this type of format. And the reason why is because the ATS system doesn't read in columns. So if you guys notice right here, this person has one column, just two columns. So they have their summary, their skills, and they have their education references. Now in this case, it's just, it's divided into sections. It's one page, one column, just all downright, with bullet points explaining it. This is another example. Now, one thing to note, this is a conversation that I did have with Elizabeth's class as well when I was teaching this class, was that in other countries here in the United States, we favor this type of resume, this type of template, the one on the left side. The reason why is because of those systems, and as well, there's one other really, really important reason. It's because you're also more due to discrimination. It's actually a fact if you guys want to do the research on this, and I actually myself have done a lot of videos, I've looked at a lot of videos and research on this, that literally having a white name will have you have a higher chances on getting hired, and having a picture of you inside the resume, you're more susceptible to discrimination just because of the picture that you have or your name. That. So taking that into consideration, right, and also the political world that we live in right now, we want to avoid using this kind of resume just so that we're not even giving them the chance, any other companies, giving them the chance to just not consider our resume, right, the one that we're going to be building today, compared to other people, just because they should judge us for the things that we do, not by how we look. So, so more about bullet points, right? This is that we're going to be working on, going back to the activity, right? But just so you guys kind of get an understanding of what I want you guys to do is going to go back to the activity. But looking at these two sections of they're the same, right? So the work experience shows here, and you have this person was a project management intern and he developed an Excel macros, standardized reporting templates, and resulting in efficient data collection. So that is good. That's a good bullet point, but it couldn't be a little more refined. So what I mean by refined is generally not only just the ATS system, but recruiters and people like to see goals. They like to see quantified. They like to see numbers of what is it that you did. So if you use ChatGPT and you copy paste this very exact bullet point that you wrote, or you got it from from using ChatGPT Power, and you want to ask it, hey, can you help me refine this bullet point, or give me examples of the same bullet point that could help me land this type of role? And look at the difference. So they went from that to develop an Excel macro and standardized reporting templates, resulting in efficient data collection and a 35% reduction in turnaround time. So that might not mean a lot right now, but what it's basically explaining is that you basically saved time. You save time for meetings, and you're quantifying that. People care about these things. The people, especially recruiters, they like to see that you're quantifying your goals, your achievements. So we're gonna go back to the second activity, and we're gonna start building our resume. So I'm going to link the place where I would like you guys to build your resume, which is Consulting. It's free. All you guys need to do is just link your email, and it'll let you build it. Or if you guys click on, so I'll be linking it in chat, so you guys could use it, and we can work on it together. Where is the chat? Okay. So once you guys click on that link, this is going to pop up. All right, we're going to go here. And then you're going to click try for free. You're going to go to build a resume. You guys can log in. You guys can make an account. You're going to build your own resume. And then once you click on build your own resume, you're going to make one. You're going to call it, in my case, be Hector Enriquez resume. All right.
Hector, are you sharing are you on the website? We're still seeing the PowerPoint.
Oh, wait, let me just screenshot the screen. The whole screen. One sec. It didn't let me earlier. There we go. So once you guys open up this website, the link I sent is going to open it to you guys right here. So we're going to click try it for free. And then right here it's going to take you as I'm already logged in, but you guys can make an account. It's free, and it's a really good tool for you guys to be using, just to build your own resume on your own. And once you guys make the account, the information, and then click on build a resume, and then we're going to click new template, right? So we're going to, I think here should let you make a new one, create new resume, and then you're going to just write it, put a name on it, and then we can work on it. Let me know how you guys are doing with. I think it is going to prompt you guys when you guys are making the account. It is going to prompt you guys with a couple of questions. You guys don't have to fill in all of the information, but try to your best to fill in as much as you can.
Jaslyn also asked, are they submitting this after?
Yes, I would want to say yes. I do want to see you guys actually build it out to the best of your ability. We can refine it moving forward, but I do think it is very important that you guys get it done, because going with the activity that we did, the very first activity, right? Being able to see what recruiters, what would you guys be looking for when you guys build your own businesses. But it's also very important that you yourself have your own resume, because if you guys meet someone in the future, or if you guys are, getting to know some future partner, or maybe go to school and then have a conversation with a friend, and then that person is, or your parents might have a friend who has a certain opportunity for you guys. You want to have a resume to be able to hand to them. You guys already will have it right here, done and easy. You guys can just download this, send it to them to their email, or you could just have it printed and give it to them in person. So I would definitely try to have it done. I guess it's homework, right? But I want to see some of it done today.
Where would you like them to submit it? Which email? There's the next question in the chat.
I think they could send it to me if that's easier, I think. I can link. Oh, Rosie's in. Hey, Rosie. So if you guys are struggling any at all with the template creation and using this website, please, don't bother to ask. I'm here to help, right? I would say you guys can delete these sections, right? Like making sure that you have the most important things, or if you guys want to change some of these, I think if you guys want to add for the awards section, that's an important one. Right, making sure you add custom and then awards and acknowledgements. Over here. Having trouble getting into it. Are you on your phone, Pritesh, or no?
I'm on my laptop and I pressed try it for free and it's asking me about my background and all that, but I put what it's saying, but it's not letting me continue.
Let me try to see if I can do it on
For
my
me,
own.
I pressed get started, I put my email in, and I put the accept and continue button, and now it's asking like background, and I like the career, I put not working, the location, but like the continue button isn't working, and it's like not allowing me to like move on.
Same. Yeah.
I wonder if it's because you said you put not working. I wonder if they don't, if you
I
have to
tried the
populate
other
something.
ones too. Like I also reloaded it a bunch of times and it's still not working.
Okay, let me try to see if
I'm gonna try it too, Professor Hector, and see what I get.
Yeah, if anything, I can actually do it easier than seconds. I have a template I can share. And then I will just delete my information from it. So use that. That's not the case. Yeah, let me know if it doesn't work for you guys as well, because that's weird that it would do that.
Yeah, I see what they're saying. So when I put in like early career, I put United States, and the continue button is not populating. Like it's unclickable.
Huh. Okay, yeah, that's the other thing we could try to do, if you guys maybe, so if the account was already created, you guys could try logging in. I think that could maybe work if you guys already put in the email. Try that, I would say. See if that works. So when you're instead of just like clicking get started, just click log in.
That's what I did too, Hector. I logged in through Google, and it's doing what they described. No, it's doing what the scholars described.
Okay. I can download this then. I'll just wait. I think I could just do this. Okay, 1 second, guys. Should work.
I think what might be helpful, Hector, in the meantime, just to keep track of time, is have them sort of just copy down each of the sections, right? Just for them to start practicing, and then they can use the template later on. Like you can copy the template and send it to them. But I think for now, it's really all about the content and what they enter into each of the sections. So if they could get started on that, put their name, and sort of follow the format that you provided to them on like a regular piece of paper.
Yeah, I like actually that makes more sense. Okay, so yeah, so let's do that then. So what we're gonna do is, I guess, grab a piece of paper, right, and then just start kind of writing. And I want you guys to write some of the sections and use ChatGPT. That's the main thing that I want you guys to use with the activity. Going back
Can
to
we do
what
it
we're going
online
about.
instead of paper?
If that works. No, you're good. If you prefer doing it on like a document, just to kind of get the general structure, this is what we're aiming to have. But if you have just like the general idea, that's the kind of the goal. But for the sake of the activity, we're going to go back to the thing we were working at. So using the same ChatGPT prompt that you guys created, right, with having the create the sections, what I want you guys to do in that same ChatGPT prompt, ask ChatGPT to help you guys to pick one of those roles, whatever role, for example. So I'm asking Nicole. So if you were to be a real estate agent owner, what part of real estate would you like to do the most? Probably just be the agent, right? You're gonna get your license. Okay, so then for in the case of any other restaurant owners, would it be a server? Nicole, I think you said server. There's a cook. There's what else? What was the other
Restaurant
role?
manager.
Restaurant manager. So pick one of those 3 roles. So that's the goal. Is pick one of those 3 roles and then build your resume. So ask ChatGPT, I want to pick this role. So insert, in the case of I guess Jaslyn as well, cat coordinator. I want to build my resume tailored for this specific job description that was created earlier. Can you help me create some bullet points? And fill information accordingly to this role. So write that in ChatGPT and try to see what it generates. And I want you guys to tell me what comes out. And if you guys want to also give it some background on you guys, that also basically does the work for you. You guys want to give information on like, oh, this is my current education. I went to this school. I went to this time. From this time to this time. So making sure that we're keeping the template right. The work experience. And if you guys also want to write an objective statement, that could be a section if you guys want to fill in space as well. That's weird that the website does that. It's pretty unlucky.
Professor Hector, I did drop a template I just found in Google Docs really quick if any of the scholars wanted to use that as a guide. If you want to just double check it and just make sure it has all the heading.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. So the link that first of all Toya provided, this one's pretty good. So if you guys can come here, right? This is just so you guys can put in the information. Obviously, the format could get some work. Right, the green is kind of making my eyes think it's something else.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But that's kind of the thing I'm trying to get you guys to look at. Just fill in this information. So you guys would grab here, make a copy of this document, and just fill it in. And then use ChatGPT, right? So if I'm going to be using ChatGPT, so say in my case, right, I'll do it with you guys as well. I think in my case, I would want to make a gaming cafe. Have you guys ever been to one where there's like a similar to Jaslyn's cat cafe, but mine's more about having computers and having like events. So I'll do it with you guys. You guys get a general idea. No green on your resume, true. Yeah, that is no colors. I think putting colors is not something I don't know what I think recruiters want to see. But I'll show you guys. So, so if you guys want, so I basically grabbed some of the things that I read. I asked it. I would like to make a resume for a gaming cafe position that it would be applying that it would have to be applying for as a gaming event coordinator. So it's going to grab. So ChatGPT already has my information, but this is kind of what I want you guys to do, just to kind of fill it in, right? So grab some of the information that you guys have, give it information, right? So it's going to grab my name, an objective statement. So energetic and experienced esports leader seeking in a gaming event coordinator position at a gaming cafe, and it's going to grab my relevant experience. And then by that, I mean, you guys have to also be creative. Think about what experiences you guys have had that could be important in that specific role that you guys are applying. So in the case of, if you're in the case of applying for a cafe coordinator, right? If you're applying for, you have 2-3 years of experience, owning a pet. So pet owner would be a relevant experience. If you have any restaurant experience, right? Managing, how that works and coordinating events, right? So it grabs these bullet points, and you guys want to basically just copy paste these bullet points, rate them out loud, making sure you guys understand them, and then reiterate on them. If you guys don't like how they rate, how they're explained, just can you give me more examples of this specific bullet point? And then we fill them in part by part. Oh, I'm editing the wrong one. Copy. I think actually, Miss C said something that was really useful as well. You could use Microsoft Word Office does have a template that could. Check. Okay, when you guys are done, at least with some of the sections, I would like to see if you guys would be willing to either share your screen, or if you guys are not share your screen, but just to show what you guys have. And then by the end of, this could be, I'm not sure when you guys could be sending this to me, but sending your resumes to the email that was provided in chat, making sure that you guys complete it. That's the most important thing. It's at least one page of information that's in there. Yeah, if I go to Word, and I type resume, it gives me these like the the pillar, the column ones. I'm not sure if I can maybe find one that's not using that style. Oh, the one that provided is good enough. Also, I guess one of the things as well, don't be afraid to there's I don't know if you guys also, ChatGPT has a like voice function as well that you guys could use to kind of just, you could tell it your experience. If that makes sense. Like you don't have to like type it. You don't have to like, one of the things that's kind of hard when using ChatGPT is using it. You don't have to be very specific on the way how you're writing things, as long as you try to tell it, I need help. I have this kind of experience. I would like to get some examples of some of the experiences using that I have prior to this. How could I write this in a way that could be good for this specific role that I'm applying for?
Professor Hector, how would you like them to communicate that they've completed it, or that they're ready
I
to
would like
share?
at least some of them to share their screen, if that would be possible, and then them to go through it. But if not, talk. If that's, I guess, a little too much, I guess, then the just talking about it, just kind of showing me their sections, how they ran out. That would be also just talking about it. Would be pretty good too.
Okay, I'm just wondering Would you mind pausing your
Your
share?
screen? Yeah, I could do that.
And then everyone should have the ability to share if you can. Is anyone on their phone? I know you can share from your phone. It just might be a little bit more tough. So, Jaslyn, just let us know if you need support.
You can, yeah. If you're on your phone, you could just talk about it. That works too. I also, yeah, we do have time for the assessment, right? Sure, we're on time.
Yep.
Also, I was gonna say a big reason why I think also doing it on Docs or online is because of Grammarly. I don't know if Grammarly has an app, but Grammarly has an extension you could get from Google Chrome, so it basically fixes it for you and it gives you suggestions on how to change a bullet point if you wrote it wrong in a certain way. Right, so that's why I'm pretty big on doing it online. But little tip.
I have Grammarly at work, Professor Hector, and I treat it like AI. I think for the most part, it does do the job, but then sometimes I'm like, no, that's not what I want.
Yeah, that's sometimes I do have to say there are sometimes I'm sure that again like proofreading, right? Like some of the prompts, even when you're just using some of these new AIs, some of the models, sometimes if you say it say a certain so you chat ask it, you prompt a certain way, it'll like bug out. Like it'll start saying some random thing or you just bring something that doesn't make any sense or answer a
Right.
question you didn't even ask. So yeah, that's one of the things I think you got to make sure that
Mhm.
the way we're going about it is
You applied the
cohesive.
proofread suggestion, right,
Yes.
that you gave
Yeah.
earlier. They always have to check that it works.
Is Rosie still here? I wanted to, yeah, because that was a really funny thing we had earlier today. I proofreaded her PowerPoint presentation by accident, and she didn't want me to. But how are we doing, guys? What's the progress like? What
Working
sections
on
are
it,
we in?
maybe like 5 more minutes more.
Okay, that works. All good. We need a little more. It's time. So no worries. Yeah, having these like these sections right here, right? You guys see database design, data analytics, visualization, performance tuning, query optimization. So these are just like general summaries of like the tasks that I've done in my prior experiences. And the reason they're important is because recruiters read like this. It's like there's a video you guys can look it up. Just look up recruiters and how they read resumes. It's like they've done tests on their like they get like eye tracking devices when they're looking at resumes, and they notice that like this is the part that they care a lot about the action verb. But if you when you change it to what the actual task you're completing, that kind of gets them thinking on, oh, okay, what is it that he means by that? And then I have my skills at the bottom because these are just like keywords, and I have right there, as Nicole mentioned, fluent in English and Spanish. Very important to have that because some positions will generally like that's the thing that they're looking for, right? And then I have hyperlinks. That's something once you guys start more fine tuning, if you click on my thingy, it takes you straight to my LinkedIn, right? If you click on presentation or any projects I might have, right? If you guys have any like websites you want to build, you guys can add these to your resume. Any project you guys have worked on. Those are really good things to put in. It takes time, but it's worth it. Does anyone have any questions? No? No? Okay, cool. Making sure. The chat. See it. You have to update the order of your work experience dates. So actually, I did see this. So the reason why it's like this is because I got promoted. That's the reason why this is. So if you have a promotion within an organization, or if you work somewhere and you get promoted, you want to have the very specific job that you had, and then the one that you currently have. So this is the most present, Ryan, and the reason it's for here is because of it's in the within the same organization. That's the only reason why it's created like that. Yeah. That's one of the things that is like very hard because you want to be able to show that you got promoted within any organization or wherever you're working at, because it shows that there's progress in your career, right, or in your professional whatever experience that you're having. And that's like this is the way to do it. You have the description of what you had prior to this, and this is the role that I have now, or I have. Okay, so we almost done. How's everyone? I think we should be able to have. Okay, Nicole, thumbs up. Anyone else? Thumbs up, please. Thumbs up. Same place on the same dates. Yeah, good. So if you guys could, I'm gonna start my screen share. So if you guys could show what you guys have. So you guys are who's willing to volunteer.
Nicole A put in the chat that she's done.
Check.
Professor Hector, did you hear Nicole?
Yeah, I saw that. She
Oh.
wait, I thought it was muted. I was asking if she could share her screen to show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Is that
she
something you
heard
could
you.
do? Yeah, my bad. I don't know if the mic was off. My bad. You should.
Okay, hang on.
Don't worry too much about it. We're just kind of going. I want to just use it as like a way to kind of see what you
Okay.
have. So don't worry. Like again, it's a very introduction series, right? We're just kind of looking at what you wrote, and then we can improve from there. But it's not.
So what I did is I had like before this class, I like previously had tried to make a resume, and honestly, I didn't know how to and I'm really happy like this class was today because like I just turned 16 and I'm looking for a job, right? And
Hey,
so I made the attempt of making a resume, like not knowing too much and stuff. I could show the first one I made and then show the one I just made using ChatGPT and something. So
if it makes you feel better, I could do the same. Because mine's also really bad. It's
but
really
mine's
bad.
like compared to the one that I just made, mine's like really bad. So okay.
Yeah.
And I did add like a little hint of pink because I wanted to, but now I know that I shouldn't. So
That's really funny.
I just want to share. Okay.
Yeah, that works. It's really good because that's the goal, right? It's to try to get you to see you improve,
Yeah.
right? Because that's I also had the very same feeling you have because that's very much the thing. Because I saw my very first resume that I used to apply when I worked in school in college. I applied for a like on campus job, and yeah, no, it was some of the things I wrote in there. I'm really like I was. But yeah, so you can go ahead and do it.
And the problem with the first one I made, I wrote a lot of like unnecessary things I should have not written. Like I should like now I know I should do like bullet points and stuff, like make it like I don't know. Okay, I talk
Mhm.
too much. I'm just gonna share.
Yeah, go for it. You're good.
Okay. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. So this is the first one I can. Okay. Okay. So I did like the summary and stuff and like the volunteer experience because it's my first job, right?
Mhm.
And I wrote a lot and like I try to be specific. I think I was too specific of what I was doing. I obviously put the education down here and like the skills. Um,
So actually, I
and
would
I
say
put
no. I like the numbers that you have. That's the thing that's very important. Look, like the fact that you already have, like, as a high school student, a string student who plays the violin, my role was in community services. I was activity was tutor to younger students from grades 5 through 12. Saying that you're being more specific. That's a good thing. Saying like, the specific metrics of what you're doing. So it's actually the only thing I would say that actually makes it like I guess just a little subpar, just a pink. But other than that, I think you started off way better than me. I think.
so that was like the first one I made.
Okay.
So the one I just like did is this, and I think I'm really proud of it actually. Like I feel like it's like a lot better.
Okay.
So it's this, and like I also the one I just showed you guys, I put like instead of like most recent to oldest, I switched it around. I put oldest to most recent on the bottom, and I know now I know I shouldn't do that. So I just changed it here. So I got this, my education, the experience. I bulleted it, and like I feel like maybe it looks a little better now. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I would actually say what you could do to add, because the thing is about your bullet points, there are only one line, which that's the thing that I think you could try to maybe use, grab those same like bullet points, and I would grab ChatGPT and say like, hey, could you help me iterate a little more? There's a thing you
Okay.
could do to make the bullet points like smaller within each other so that they can, if you think you saw
Like more
mine.
specific, but keep it like small, something like that.
Yeah, or try to be like, for example, like when you say provided weekly violin lessons to students in grades 5 to 12, that only says what you did. That's only the responsibility that you had. And I'm not really learning like how good were you at it. I'm not learning
Okay.
like you know what I mean. So like if you grab that same, I think actually if you go back to your old resume, you had a little bit more of a description of what you were doing. So I'd say grab that old bullet point, right? So if you grab that same violin bullet point, where is it?
Mhm.
That one right here, right? So you say, yeah, so look at this. My role in the community service activity was to tutor. So that's a thing, that's an action right there. So tutored younger students in the grades 5 to 12. So I would grab this entire paragraph and then
Mhm.
basically say, could you help me create this paragraph into a professional resume bullet point that is more than one line? And then that result should give you like probably the best answer. That's what I think actually helps so much. Is this is a good exercise, is writing out the entire your like what you actually did. Like they're right here. I helped introduce them to solo pieces, coach them. You did a lot. So only giving yourself one bullet point doesn't do your experience justice. That's what it's about, and making sure that you're actually bragging. That's the whole point.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
structure, the structure is perfect.
Okay. Okay. And I guess the skills, I just made it like more specific and I think I added like two more. I put my languages, which I had before. Um, yeah.
Liable, sure. Yeah,
And I
I like
kept it
it.
one page.
Yeah,
So.
it's good.
And Miss Latoya said it's to make sure you have SOAR on there.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, I should. Okay.
You can.
Also,
I think I was gonna show you. So if you highlight the bullet points, like for example, go to your education, like just highlight all the bullet points. There should
yeah.
be highlight all of them, and then if you go to, so you see where if you kind of top right of the page, there's like one arrow going up, one arrow going down. There's three lines. A little more up. That one
Here?
right there. Yeah, grab that, and then click single. Oh, it's right 0.8.
It makes it longer.
Oh, okay.
So
So you have to
that's
make it
why,
shorter. Yeah.
yeah, I had 0.5 on it. I mean 0.8, sorry.
0.
0.8. So that it like specific, because before I did that, it was like almost 2 pages. Like full.
Yeah. So I said try making it a
So,
little smaller so that the bullet points are not so separated from each other.
okay.
So you have more space. You can get away with a little. I think try maybe 0.6. Yes. Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's better. So you do that for all of your bullet points, and then you can actually have way more space.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. Okay, I'll just like do that later. So
No, you're good. It's good. Good job, Nicole. I've
okay.
you can see the progress, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else want to show what they did?
Do I have to show all of it?
No. Well, I mean, if whatever you have like done would be good to see. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to share on here. One second.
I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got it working.
Yeah, you got it. Nice.
So this is what I have so far. I have skills of hospitality and professional and customer communication. I have cat care for the job of being a cat coordinator. And I kind of put this there as a skill, even though it's not like required for the job. I know sign language, so I think that's
Oh,
helpful.
that's good though. But yeah, no, but that's a language on its own. Yeah.
And then I have my experience of having my cat Merlin and being a social media manager and team chief for my ROTC. Education and then some awards. But yeah, I don't know exactly what more to put here.
I think it's good. If that's exactly one page, I think it's great. The only thing I would say is again, like the bullet points. If you go to team chief like Linden, right? This is design chief for 2 years. I don't know if that keeps going. So that's where I'm saying that you could, if you look at what Nicole did earlier, right? She grabbed like a big paragraph that she wrote of what she actually did. So I would say grab like big paragraphs of what you actually did, helped, grab all of that, and then just grab that entire thing you wrote, and then put it into ChatGPT and say, can you condense this into bullet points that are 2 lines maximum? And then it'll list that for you, and then it'll give you a better showcase of, it'll be more authentic to the things you actually did, and then it will stand out more.
All right.
You should actually apply to cat cafes. I don't know if you've ever, in the city, in New York City, there's I went to one when I was in college. That's how the first encounter with cats, for owning one as well. And they had like, it was very similar to all the things I think you want to do in your business. It was really, really cool. You could play with the cats. Yeah, it was a cafe coffee shop. Yeah, cafe coffee shop it was called. It was really, really cute.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, Miss C said a really good thing. So, how many students were you a chief over? If you don't know the exact number, just ballpark it. It could be like 20. Just say 20.
Okay, because it's 4, but we have other volunteers, so like it kind of goes from like 4 to like 10 maybe, or it could be a whole regiment. So
I would go as far as saying go put 10 plus.
okay,
Yeah,
put 10
or your
plus.
regiment. How many was in your regiment?
like 20 kids maximum.
So you were 20.
Okay.
Nicole, do you want to share with the class? I see you're. Anyway. you know what you want to. It's okay.
No, I can, but it's gonna be kind of disappointing.
I wouldn't say that. If you want to see something like, again, it's all about like seeing the progress, right? Like, I think even if you think it's that, trust me, a lot of the time that's the whole point about getting the proofread. We work on it together, right? So we all have to start somewhere. Okay. So I like that you put the education. I like the format. Actually, this format's really nice. The way I like the font. The font's really, really concise.
I have some stuff from middle school because I don't have that much experience since I'm in 9th grade.
So we go back up. I want to see I like so yeah, you have the skills, the languages, that's important. Volleyball. So okay, so one of the things I would say, so in terms of like these are the thing, for example, you have 2 experiences that are like from a sports player, right? So you can that in of it itself, I would say you can maybe use ChatGPT to grab a lot of the stuff that was hard. So, for example, like I don't know if you had like consistent training sessions, right? If you had to go to practice like in the morning and at night, so that could kind of explain your discipline. So you can, it's when you say practice 8 hours a week, conditioning, participating in games, that, and especially because you have it like basically the same twice, right? So I would say grab that bullet point and try to ask ChatGPT, can you give me some more examples of bullet points that I could, from my sports experience, how could I use this in a professional resume to show skills like my discipline, my work ethic, my those. I think I would say like what are the things that you think that you did in sports that showcase it could be useful in a job, right? So you can use ChatGPT literally to help you find those bullet points. You can add on to that. I would say also make sure you make them bullet points because they're kind of just listed, right? So make sure you just like highlight them. Ms. C says, how many events did you coordinate? What position in student senate? Yes, that's a really good one. So if you were finance, right? If you were managing budgets, or if you were, you were event coordinator, right? If you were like helping manage an event, getting people to sign up to stuff. Were you the one creating the flyers? So these are all the things that you guys need to like really write down and like, put it in ChatGPT and then like really flesh out your thought. Like it literally just like try to explain to the best of your ability what everything that you did, and then from that big experience, we want to condense a little bit.
Okay.
But it's good. I like the format. The format's great. Okay, anyone else want to show? I think that should be everyone. I think it does have to go, right? But if you guys want to see before we go, we have 10 minutes actually. So I don't know if you guys want to do the assessment now. It's at 8:30, right?
Yeah, we have until 8:30 and then we can start the assessment at that time.
Okay. So if it makes you guys I want to share screen my first resume. Look at this. So look at my dates. I have New York here. It should be here. I don't even have dates for any of the other stuff that I've done. This is like segmented here when everything else is on this side. And then what else? Like I have my master's is at the bottom and it should be at the top. It's most recent. So you see, like this is where I started. I started working on it because I think I applied to a school job and I started the same way. I had only one bullet point. These bullet points kind of, they're good, but they're not. I would say like they could be a little more, be better. So then I kept working on it, right? So I improved it. So now this is a better improvement. See, I kept working on it. So now I have two. I conducted project management, collaborated with admissions office at school to aid international. So, and then eventually you guys build your guys' way up to having a more fleshed out resume, right? But it's good. It's the good progress that you guys are working on. That's the whole point, is getting you guys started to be like, okay, maybe I could change it. Maybe I could go back and think doing this. Like it's tinkering. But so don't feel bad about your resumes because we all had a bad resume. When are these due? I'm still working on the format, but I know what to put on. I guess at the end of the classes, I'd say,
Yep,
right?
it's due next Thursday. So that's the 15th.
Yeah, I think I even had like a real estate Nicole, if we had like a real estate project here. I think I did a project for a class. So because I was applying to real estate for a little bit because I was interested. I did some work in college for it. Is this going along with our final? I would say so, probably, yeah. But yeah, actually, one other section you guys could probably add to that could be really useful is in your high school education, you can add, if you guys have the space, relevant coursework. So if you're applying to, say, like if there's any classes in high school you guys are taking or just extracurriculars, you guys can add here, like if you're taking classes on, like if you're applying for, a lab science internship or like some kind of job like working in a lab, you want to have all your science courses here, chemistry, that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And then cover letters. We didn't get to cover letters. That's something I think when I put SOAR where so the SOAR part, you could put that in, I would say, I guess that would go probably in your leadership experiences, right? So you can put that, you can add like instead of saying just leadership experiences, you can add leadership experiences and volunteership or projects. That's also, you can put that as in the project. But I think leadership and volunteer experiences are probably where it should be. And what would you say for it? Well, that's why we have ChatGPT. So I think, right, so you can grab what I would do in regards to how to put SOAR inside your resume is grab all of the classes that you've taken, all the assignments you've done in the class. So you've worked on how to build a business, or you learned about financing, you learned about budgeting, you learned about you learned about resume building, you learned about a bunch of different things. And I would say pick the ones that you guys would think tailor more to the job you're applying to and ask it to, that you participated in those classes and that you were also collaborating with other professionals to create your own ideas, right? How would you format a certificate? The certificate would just go in your rewards section. So it would just be, how like in the past, I think I had like, it should be kind of similar to this, where like your technical skills, you just have awards, and then you'd list them out. So you could write the name. So it'd be the name of the award, and then I guess the date. Okay, but you guys have to do the assessment. So if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna leave my email in the chat. If you guys want to ask me anything in regards to resume building, if you guys want to even need help building it for like the presentation of it, like once you have the final submission, feel free to send me an email. I am here to help with anything in there. I am for you guys as well. So
All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's give Professor Hector a round of applause, a traditional round of
round is
applause.
crazy. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. That was so great. You got to thank Hector in the chat. Very, very. I told you it was going to be so meaningful for you all. So I'm so glad you're able to enjoy it. So I'm going to turn you over in the very good hands of Professor JR. He is going to administer the Mentimeter. I am being summoned by my 6-year-old. Very hard to.
So much. He knows action verbs. Your 6-year-old knows action.
Yeah. I'm just seeing if he's ready. But in the meantime, while he's getting set up, please, as Professor Hector said, if you had any other questions, I saw some great questions coming in the chat. So if you have any other questions about awards, certificates, anything on your resume that you'd like to include, please go ahead and ask him. Pick his brain. Miss T also put the survey in the chat. Yep, so go ahead and do the class survey while Professor JR is setting up the Mentimeter. Thank you all for your participation and your engagement. You did a beautiful job as usual. And we will see you next Tuesday. Morning.
This is what I put: SOAR, hospitality, and travel micro certificate. Should I leave it like that or no? I would have to look at, you could add a description. If you have the space for it, you can put a description for it. That's what it would be like super great. Because like having a little description of what, like a bullet point, just kind of showing what you did, right? So, learning, so you could put like collaborated with professionals from different industries, from finance, to build presentations. Like, these are the kinds of things that you can write. Just I think use ChatGPT again. If you don't like my resume, the way we got so much better as well was just through a lot of ChatGPT refinement, making sure that I'm reading through the bullet points and adding sections that could be helpful. So, ask ChatGPT. I've been attending and working with this nonprofit called Let's S.O.A.R, and I've been working and going to classes learning about different disciplines, I would like to add bullet points to that section of my resume. How could I go? Can you give me some examples? And once you write that, it should generate some, and then you can add the ones that you like the most. So I'm gonna add my email real quick if you guys need anything. Also, I do want to say, Nicole, if you need help, at least with the interview process as well, you need to prepare for that, because that's a whole another section. You can ask. I think I also had to interview for S.O.A.R, so you can ask Professor Latoya. And you can ask Tiana, also interviewed me. So that's also another skill set you're gonna have to put some time into, and being prepared to how to answer questions that might be like, so tell me about yourself. That question could be a little daunting. So learning how to practice those things is very important, and it's getting to, being comfortable with yourself and speaking something.
Awesome. Thank you, Hector. Survey.
And if you're talking to us, I heard you say survey. We can't hear you.
Oh. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, my Zoom was acting all weird. I was saying that we can jump into the survey once everyone's done with jump into the Mentimeter once everyone's done with the survey. Just drop a D in the chat once you're done with the survey. YouTube don't like that music. All right. So did everyone see the link in the chat for the Mentimeter? I think we should have four folks in there, right?
Yes.
All right, so just waiting on one more person.
I pasted in there again just in case for you, Jer.
Oh, okay. All right, so with Mentimeter, remember it's well, this one is not actually gonna be, we're validating what you guys have learned. So let's jump into it. What is the primary purpose of instructional writing? Yeah, 4 choices here. The purpose of instructional writing. Oh yeah, this one's a little different. So it's just gonna go through. We're just gonna go through. Which type of business writing would be best for creating a company annual report? All right. This is split, but it was the informational. If you wanted to convince someone to join a new environmental club at school, which writing style would you use? You want to convince. Oh, that was fast. Oh, sorry. Persuasive. Sorry. Everybody got that one. All right. Which type of writing is primarily used in creating contracts and formal agreements? So which one do we use for contracts, formal agreements? Sorry, y'all. I don't know why this is behaving a little different tonight. All right. So yeah, that transactional, right? Transactional for the contracts, we're validating who's giving what, who's receiving what, for how much or for how long, right? So it's a transactional.
Yeah, remember we're transactional. It's let's make a deal.
Mhm. What is the deal on this contract? All right. Choose the correct example that matches persuasive writing. Which example is persuasive writing here? Everyone got it. An advertisement. Yes. Gotta advertise. Gotta persuade people in those advertisements, right? Otherwise, what's the point? Halfway there. Hiring managers will usually look at a resume for how long before making a decision? How much time you got? 7 seconds. Yeah. Hiring managers are not looking at it for a few days. They just glancing through, stack, trying to get through it. All right. Question 7. Which is not considered a soft skill? So which one is not a soft skill? Microsoft knowledge, Microsoft Office, right? So leadership, teamwork, problem solving, these are things that are considered soft skills because it's like character driven, right? Microsoft is something that anyone can learn. Sorry. Your career objectives describes what? Which one of these does your career objectives describe? Overall career goal. So the objectives is that key stack talks about the goals, right? Education and experience should be listed most relevant to least, recent to oldest, first job to last. Doesn't matter. Most recent to the oldest, yes. What have you done lately?
Sound like Janet, JR.
Right. Which selection would you list in work experience? Which one of these belongs in that work experience section? Oh, everybody, click that real quick. There you go. All right. Thank you everyone for participating. This was all right, Jazz. You were the fastest, I said. You got some extra points for being fast. All right. Cool. Thank you, everyone. I believe that's it. I think, Mr. Hector, you had some homework you wanted folks to kind of draft between now and next week. So definitely reach out with any questions, emails in the chat. If you guys have any questions. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. Does anyone have any questions? We good? All right.
See you next Tuesday, 6:30. Good night, everyone.
Take care, everyone.